Good evening. If you're watching me live on Facebook, this is a late broadcast for me. It is almost 8:45 p.m., which is late for me. If you're watching on YouTube, it won't matter because you won't know what time of day it is when it was recorded. This is currently my daily centric broadcast around messages from the masculine. This is number 34. And this one is rinse and repeat romance, why it doesn't work. Or it doesn't work, period. This topic has been sitting on my mind the last couple of days, and let me explain what I mean by it first. Actually, let me back up a second. Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Barry Selby. I'm known as the Love Doctor, and I'm a relationship transformation expert for my clients and friends, often who don't want to be my clients, they just want to get help from me. And I'm doing these daily talks to help women particularly, but also help men who want to listen to really transform their experience about relationship, about love, about life. The messages from the masculine theme is really targeted towards women to be more powerful in their feminine, to live in their truth, to own their magnificence. So this one is kind of for both parties in this conversation. And the way I want to explain this and break this down is this. Rinse and repeat romance, the way I'm using the acronym or the, not acronym, wrong word, metaphor, is I've seen so many, and I just realized recently with a friend of mine I was watching this, watching her choosing, or I should say being in another relationship where she had barely gotten over the previous one. And I've talked about this one before about the rebound romance stuff. In fact, it's a chapter in my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, which you can get online and blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you about that another time. But, but this point about rinse and repeat, for me, is the point that so many people, and I was one of them, absolutely was one of them, who, when we got out of a relationship, when we lost out of love, when we got broken up with or we broke up with somebody else, we would take some time to grieve, to heal perhaps, and then we basically would jump back into a relationship again with somebody else. Somebody else would come across our radar, whether it was meeting in a bar, meeting through friends, or nowadays on smartphone apps, swipe apps, etc. The challenge, the frustration with this, or I should say the limitation of this is, 9 times out of 10, that's my numbers, that's not actual research, but my perception is that 9 times out of 10, when you go through a breakup of a relationship, there's something to learn from the experience, something to learn that would change your trajectory going forward. And for many of us, because I said I've done this myself in the past, I won't do that anymore though, I would jump into a relationship after being out of one for a few months, maybe a year or two, but I wouldn't have done anything inwardly speaking. I wouldn't have done any inner work. I would jump into a relationship because I met somebody cute and I was attracted to them. After, I should say before I do any sort of self-reflection, transformations, change the way I relate in relationship. So I call that the rinse and repeat method, basically, of where you get out of one relationship and you just basically twiddle your thumbs, do some grieving, and then you go to the next one. And for some people that can work if they're willing to live at the surface. But I believe most people want to go deeper in that relationships. And so the suggestion, the guidance, the recommendation I offer is that if you are in fact someone who has a desire to have a better relationship than the previous one, a lot better ideally, yes, you may find that happens by random approach, but you want to make sure that you really have an amazing relationship. When you get out of the one that you were in, if you're out of the one now, be willing to look inwardly at yourself. Be willing to look at your experience in that relationship and see where you are accountable. See where you either did things or enabled things to be done to you by a partner that were not what you wanted. Yes, I'm talking about the dark stuff, the deep stuff, the more challenging stuff. Is to look at those things to see what it is that didn't work and then change how you are inside so you can attract a different relationship next time. Now, the how-to, that's kind of my speciality, and I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of ideas now because there's a lot of different things, different people. We all have our own journeys, our own experiences, our own transformation in relationship. But I would recommend highly that if you're someone who is willing to raise the bar in your love life, to have a higher quality of relationship in your future, then it isn't going to be a random choice. And if you don't do the work from before what happened in the past relationship, it will be random and it will be hit and miss. And I don't recommend it. So the hint in this particular broadcast is when you get out of a relationship, if you're already out of one or your one's coming to an end or the next one happens and you're going to be out of that one perhaps, be willing to face your own reflection in the mirror. See where you were off track and see what you want to do differently. Now, if you're not sure what that is, I can help you with that. That's my speciality, but I would just say for your own benefit, take the time to not just grieve the passing of the relationship or to feel better because you're done with that person, but to really take the time to reflect in your own life at what didn't work and how you can do things differently in the future so you can actually attract and have the relationship you really do want. And I have programs and support and coaching, all things that will help you with that. But this is really about you choosing for you. So this is not a promotional video. This is more about a advisory video, let's put it that way. So that really is the summary I want to say, just briefly giving you a topic, an idea to think about. That if you're someone who's experienced the rinse and repeat method of relationship, where you basically get out of one, do some little bit shaking off the tears from the last one, grieving, and then jump into the next one, you maybe find yourself repeating the same patterns again and again. The challenge is that time's going by and you're not getting what you want. So if you want to change that trajectory, that interesting word slips up on me again, if you want to change your trajectory, then do something about it. Read some books, get some counsel, work with a coach. Do something that will support you in having what you want. All right? So that's the advice for tonight. This is a late one. I was going to do it earlier, but I was out all day today, and in fact, my fingernails look horrible today because I actually was getting really down and dirty in some work today for a friend of mine, and I haven't even cleaned up yet, but I want to get this video done. Since I finally got home, I want to get this out in the air so you actually have my daily broadcast. So again, my name is Barry Selby. These are my daily messages from the masculine for all my friends out there, and I'm doing them daily right now, at least for the first for 30 of them. And I started around mid-20s with this new daily practice. So there's another 20 or so, 25 coming. So thanks for watching. Feel free to share this out with your friends and followers, people who you think might value this and get value from this. And if you want help, please reach out and message me over Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please message me over YouTube. If it's on my site you're watching this, there's a contact form there. All right? Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.